Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Thursday, the 12th of August 2021. And we're producing our gold and silver morning update and price forecast. The last 24 hours has seen gold and silver prices edging up as US CPI figures announced yesterday met market expectations with no nasty surprises. The question though is, with the dollar weakening slightly, is it enough to prevent further falls in their price? So let's take a look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. 12th of August 2021, 9:40 a.m. GMT +1 on a rather dull and overcast Thursday morning. And looking at the news today, apart from perhaps one or two bright sparks, it's pretty dull. UK economy growing faster than expected. Good news for us in the UK, yes? The UK economy grew more than expected in June as lighter coronavirus restrictions led to renewed strength in nation's dominant services. GDP rose 1%, more than the 0.8% predicted by economists. That made growth for the second quarter at 4.8%, close to the 5% pace the Bank of England predicted last week. Nice to know the Bank of England is on the ball. A sharp recovery from the worst recession in 3 centuries has left the economy only 2.2% smaller than before coronavirus lockdowns. The breakneck pace of expansion is likely to moderate as post-lockdown euphoria fades and infections rise. The Bank of England expects the lost output to return by the end of this year. Okay, so we're expecting a further improvement in the economy. Interestingly, our GDP is going to go back to pre-COVID levels very soon. And what about Brexit? We thought the economy was going to hell in a handcart. So far, that hasn't happened. Now, something we saw here in the news of some interest, or at least we thought it was of some interest, is to do with Singapore. Now, someone we have been sort of following on the sidelines called Anton Kreil, former Goldman Sachs JP Morgan trader, runs an institute of trading out of Singapore. And then we came across this headline. The ultra-rich are driving a $24 billion property frenzy in Singapore. Now, Anton has argued, quite eloquently, that if you wish to start up a business, register it in Singapore and live in Singapore, because compared certainly to the United Kingdom, having taken into account things like VAT, corporation tax, personal taxation, etc., you're about 4 times better off in Singapore. But what cost? In an exclusive Singapore neighborhood shaded with rain trees, a local tech billionaire plunked down $95 million for a mansion. Near an upscale shopping district, a Taiwanese family with a grocery empire spent $216 million for all the units in a condominium development. That's the kind of money sloshing around Singapore's red-hot residential market this year. To be exact, $32.9 billion. They are Singaporean dollars equivalent to 24 billion US dollars spent in the first half alone. The city's biggest frenzy in more than a decade, and double what was recorded in Manhattan over the same 6 months. With inflation on many minds, the ultra-rich are stuffing cash into luxury properties around the globe. And in few places is the trend as apparent as in Singapore. The city home prices jumped by a record 4.1% in the first half as tycoons across Asia seek a safe harbour. Well, there we go. Singapore's the place to go if you can afford to live there. BBC News, repetition. UK economy grows 4.8% as COVID restrictions ease. The guy or guys or people who hacked the cryptocurrency that we reported on yesterday, they've returned the $260 million worth of crypto funds they stole from the Poly network. China says crackdown on business to go on for years. Let's take a quick look at that, because this will have a bearing across the world economy. The Chinese government has unveiled a 5-year plan outlining tighter regulation of much of its economy. It says new rules will be introduced covering areas such as national security, technology and monopolies in the world's second largest economy. The plan comes soon after Beijing started targeting the technology and education industries. So, there is a 10-point plan. I won't go over it now, we don't have time. But do look that up, because it could have a bearing on what demand China makes on things like precious metals, industrial metals, and how that will affect their export industry as well. US and Canada news. Canadian jailed for 11 years in China for spying, apparently. Biden says no regret over Afghanistan withdrawal. New York's next governor influenced by Irish roots. This is Kathy Hochul's grandparents were from Ireland and had a profound impact on her political outlook. This is the lady taking over from Governor Cuomo, soon to be ex-Governor Cuomo. That's broadly it. There's not really a huge amount. The Polish Parliament, for those looking at free speech, Polish Parliament passes controversial media bill. Opponents say the plans are an attempt to silence a TV channel critical to the government. Worth a look, because you never know. This may be coming to a town near you. Let's have a look at the dollar. 92.90. Now, why is that significant? Well, it was over 93 at one point, and we did say we're expecting it to go and continue to move at or marginally above the 93 level. Well, yesterday, Wednesday, as we suggested, we had the Consumer Price Index and Core CPI. And they were broadly in line with expectations. What that did was it removed some of the fear that many people had, or investors had, about rising inflation, meaning the central bank imposing interest rate increases or tapering of bond buying sooner. With inflation now coming back as per expectations and reducing compared to June's figure of 0.9%, it's now 0.5 in July for the CPI and the core CPI 0.3, some of those fears are a little laid. So that certainly weakened the dollar, together with Biden's passage, or rather the Democrats' passage, of their $5 trillion stimulus for the American economy. It's putting a little bit of downward pressure on the US dollar. However, we only see that as an interim measure, and we can see that going above 93 again, even though most of the pundits are saying we're going to see it go down below 90. It will eventually, but we suspect not quite yet. Why? Because the other banks are also, particularly the European Central Bank, is also being very dovish. Slightly different in the UK though, especially with the good economic figures and slightly rising inflation. Energy prices, virtually no change. $69 for WTI crude, $71 for Brent crude. Stocks yesterday, well, Wall Street did extraordinarily well. Again now touching all-time highs in some cases. Nasdaq taking a small hit. There is a prediction that the Nasdaq will be hit further. We envisaged that, frankly, 8 months ago. It did for a few days and then rapidly recovered. So we shall wait and see. Overnight, Asia markets broadly down, but 0.5% or less. And this morning, and it's now 9:49 a.m. in the UK, we have the Euro Index up 4 points, the FTSE down 14, the DAX up 14, and the CAC up 3. No real movements here, and we're hearing a lot of stuff coming out on social media now about markets taking a hit. We think once this package of measures filters through the economy, equity markets will continue to rise, and then there's no more, in our view. Or what there will be less. And as a result, then we expect equities to take a hit, which is why I personally, and it's not financial advice, but I personally am rearranging my pension fund to make it more cash-oriented so that when that hit does occur, reinvestment can happen once again. So today we have the initial jobless claims figures. Quite important, actually. It'll verify what happened to the non-farm payrolls last Friday, and we shall get an indication as to whether the employment situation is improving or worsening. We suspect it will be improving, but we'll wait and see. And we also have the producer price index later on as well. Gold prices actually edging up again. Let's just do a re-tick on this. Over the last 24 hours, gold is up $22. It's now at $17.56. The $17.50 has acted as support, so it's doing, frankly, quite well at the moment. Silver, I'll refresh the page. Silver is also up 13 cents at 23.49. 23.50 would be a little bit of a resistance. We can see it has been higher today. It's been up as high as 23.60, I think. Come back down a little. It's trying to find a base from which to work from. But if we compare this to Friday's close, we can still see that silver is still down 90 cents, basically. 87 cents down. But far better than the flash crash very early on Monday morning of 22.97. However, if the dollar increases, we're going to see silver and gold fall further. If the dollar, though, declines, then that will act as a small tailwind for gold and silver. Cryptocurrency markets, I'll refresh the page. Down slightly today. Overall market down 0.85%. Market cap 1.89 trillion. Bitcoin down nearly 2, Ethereum down 2, but a lot of the smaller coins are actually up. And one or two that we were invested in and unfortunately got out of actually rocketed yesterday. See this Polygon Matic? We could have bought that at 78 cents less than 3 weeks ago. It's now $1.38. We didn't buy because we were waiting for 74. It dipped to 74, but I was asleep. And I didn't set a purchase order. A lot of people that we know of invested over... Sorry, let me rephrase that. Not a lot of people. Some people that we're aware of invested between $100 and $1 million at 90 cents 4 weeks ago. Or just under. Look at it now, 138. I think they've done quite well. However, it's a casino. That's it for now. Enjoy your day. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Press the bell sign. What are we expecting today? We're waiting for the jobs report. Quite frankly, we think gold and silver are going to more or less consolidate close at these levels unless the economic data is particularly disparate from expectations. And frankly, we believe they're both still in a slight downward trend. So we are anticipating prices to go lower, not a flash crash as we just saw, but there could be a marginal flip up before that descent further down. Will it be significant? It depends on your description of significance. We think the ultimate low really for silver will be around the $20 mark, though frankly there are numerous support levels between the current level and $20. And gold, well, ultimate low 1500. If it ever goes to that figure, we will be active buyers for sure. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. Thank you once again. See you tomorrow, unless we produce another video later today. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice, and merely represent the personal views of its owners.